Elected president of Argentina in 1946, Juan Peron was re-elected in 1952. This fall has been traced back to the death of his earlier wife, Evita, of cancer in her early 30s. She was a major factor on the poor, the working class, and the trade unions, and her death seems to have left her husband disoriented. He had to cope with a serious economic crisis, with inflation at 30% at one point, and fell out of the Roman Catholic Church, which refused to canonize the departed Evita. Peron threatened the separation of church and state, ended religious instruction in state schools, and planned to legalize divorce and prostitution. In political terms, it was a serious error. In June of 1955, Peron had two Catholic priests deported to Italy, and the Vatican promptly excommunicated those responsible, without specifying exactly who. Elements of the Navy and Air Force rebelled, and planes dropped bombs on Buenos Aires, killing some 350 people. The rising was put down, but gangs of young thugs started loading and desecrating churches, and 7 were burned down in Buenos Aires, which severely damaged Peron's reputation. At the end of August, a report that the president was going to resign was followed by a general strike and a carefully organized protest demonstration in Buenos Aires, at which Peron made a violently inflammatory speech, encouraging his supporters to kill their opponents. General Eduardo Lonardi, who had a personal grudge against Peron, now took action. On September 16th, Army and Air Force units in Cordoba broke open in revolt, seized control of the city, and proclaimed the end of the Peron regime. They were supported by General Pedro Albaru in the northeast. Most of the army seems to have been loyal to the president, but the Navy was not. Warships steamed for the capital, blocked Buenos Aires, and threatened to blow up the oil refineries on the River Plate, and if necessary, the city itself. The cruiser actually began shelling the docks and oil installations on the 18th. Peron evidently felt the game was up. He formally resigned the next day and took refuge in the Paraguayan embassy. Some 500 armed stormtroopers of the Peronista military barricaded themselves in their headquarters and refused to surrender to army units, which moved infantry, tanks, and artillery in against them, and went against them with heavy casualties. General Lonardi swept into Buenos Aires on the 23rd to be greeted by cheering throngs, the longest ever recorded in the city's history, and installed as a provisional president. While Peron was transferred to a Paraguayan gunboat, it had something wrong with it, and a second gunboat had to be sent to take him away into exile in October. Peron soon moved from Paraguay to Panama, then to Venezuela, then the Dominican Republic, in welcoming embrace of Rafael Trujillo, and finally to Spain, where he settled in Madrid. Few people in Argentina had expected ever to see him again, but after 18 years in exile, he reappeared in 1972 and was elected president with an overwhelming majority the following year. My sources are LatinAmericanHistory.about.com, Wikipedia.com, and Britannica.com.